Good morning, it's Monday the 12th of August and this is the start of episode 4. The beautiful thing about today for me is that it's a rest day. It's 6:10 in the morning, hence the reason I look bug-eyed or bog-eyed, never sure which one it is. No, I'm not going on a camping trip, I'm just off to work. But before I start work, I need to get training done. Best part of my day, my morning coffee. If I had my way, I would always train first thing in the day, largely because of just how I feel after training, and life always gets in the way. You know, things that are out of my control might take me away from being able to train. By doing it first thing in the morning before anyone can kind of enter my space, you just win. You get it a big tick in the box, and it always alters just my life, my day. After training, I always feel like I'm my best self, and I can carry that forward into my daily interactions. And when I'm my best self, I experience my best days, because life is just a mirror at the end of the day. So when I'm my best self, I see the best in others too. When I'm my worst self, I might get agitated, frustrated, irritated at the outside environment, but ultimately I'm just irritated with the internal environment. So by making peace and doing something that perhaps we don't always want to do, such as exercise, we kind of take the reins, we take control of our situation. And for me, the benefits far outweigh a healthy mind, body, heart, and all of that jazz. It's just my experience of life is tenfold better. So I attach to that. When I want to just stay curled up in bed, I attach to that feeling that I'm going to obtain by just doing something that perhaps in the moment I don't want to do. The reward is so great that I know by, yes, curling up in bed, it's instant gratification, it's a joyful moment in that moment, but my day will only be worse for it. So I just retain that mindset, I frame my day accordingly. But once I've trained, like I say, I'm a better human being, I make better decisions, and the term I think is a keystone habit. What triggers other good habits through big action? So for me, exercise is my keystone habit. That was a Charles Duhigg concept in the book The Power of Habit. Great book. So these first 20 minutes have been absolutely brutal. My head is filled with wanting to stop. Good morning, it's Wednesday. and I'm off to give this van over to the garage. Sure you wanted to know that, so interesting. And then I'm getting picked up by a friend, Nick, and we're heading to Isenhurst Gym. He's going to do some weights and all that jazz, and I'm just going to plod on the treadmill to get my run in for the week. We're going to train inside. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy with it because it's absolutely tipping it down. And some days you just got to lower the barrier, because when I woke up this morning, the last thing I wanted to do was train. What up?
What's up, Smilinggg?
You know it. So it's Thursday and Nick and I were heading in for a full body workout, at least I am. I think Nick smashed legs yesterday, so I don't know how his legs are feeling. How they're doing?
Feeling beasted. That's the best word.
So yeah, I'm going to be doing a full body workout, and then the plan's 75 minutes on the stair climber, and then following that sauna and this new float therapy that Nick and I sort of discovered yesterday. It's like a poor man's float tank. Right, time to train. Training. It keeps slowing down because have you seen free solo? Training's all wrapped up. The time's actually 5:24, and we got in the gym at about 1:24. So it's been 4 hours. Mixture, as you saw, the weight training, cardio, sauna, and then the flow, the swimming pool therapy that I call. Yeah, so all that means is once you've had the sauna, you enter the swimming pool, you grab a couple of those floaty things. What, they're like straws. What, floaty, I don't know.
Floating aids.
Yeah, floating aids. Anyway, you have some under your legs, some sort of under your arms, and then like your traditional float that you use to learn swimming under your back, and then just submerge your ears, your eyes, everything under the water. Just allow your nose, obviously, for breathing. And serious. Feel pretty zen after that.
Don't be giving the secrets away.
Yeah, it's powerful, really powerful meditative experience. So yeah, give it a try sometime. Nice one. Put it there.
Nice one.
Great to see you, man. Look after yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Any final words for the audience? What's your parting bit of wisdom? If you had to give one piece of advice.
Live long and prosper.
Strong. And on that note, we'll love you and leave you. So it's Friday, and today is going to be a rest day, the 16th of August. Yesterday was a really good day of training with Nick. The weights was really, it's just really good to train with someone, actually. I often do all my training alone, just because, I don't know, I guess I like to just treat it as my time to sort of go within and to take some valuable lessons through, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's cardio, but it's nice to mix it up, and it's nice to do things that you don't always do. The cardio after the weights was really pleasing, but it was at a higher intensity, and it's just left me feeling today a little bit depleted. So yeah, I've opted for a rest day today. Good morning, it's Saturday the 17th of August, and I'm currently going through a period of lacking motivation. Or when I say I'm going through a period, I woke up today not wanting to get out of bed. I'd be lying if I said that I jump out of bed all the time. It's lovely when you do, and that is what I would coin motivated. But the fact is, motivation doesn't last, and I wanted to quickly touch upon that as I drive to train for my long 2.5 hour session today. Motivation, if you think of motivation with reference to New Year, New Year's resolutions and things, you'll notice the first 2 weeks at the gym, or when you want to start New Year's resolutions, they are it's easy for the first couple of weeks. First couple of weeks of the new year are easy. You know, you set all your intentions, you set your resolutions, and you get after it. But then it starts to drop off, and usually after 2 weeks or so, that's when the motivation tends to drop. And with the training for these for the Everest challenge, although I've been doing it prior to documenting it, the official training began more since about 3 weeks ago now. I think this is episode 4, whatever, and this is the first stage where I'm kind of lacking the motivation. So what's vitally important is that we come from a place that's deeper than motivation. And I talk of the whys. I think Friedrich Nietzsche, I've probably really butchered his pronunciation, but the I think German philosopher said, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." And Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, which is one of my top 3 all-time best books, he coined that too. He was the Holocaust survivor, and that's a book that you really must read if you haven't. But yeah, we talk of why. Why are we doing what we're doing? And the depth of our why will strengthen our drive for when motivation wanes. And as I say right now, my motivation has waned. I didn't want to get out of bed this morning. And I didn't really want to train. And if I was based solely on motivation, I wouldn't have done it. But my why got me out of bed. My drive got me into this situation where I'm driving, ready to train for the best part of 3 hours before I start working. So all our whys are different, but when they're an internal why, you know, why you're doing things to better yourself or to better, I don't know, I guess, the community or life itself, or with that intention, you'll have much more strength when resistance kicks in, because that's ultimately what it is. It's kind of a resistance, and I even felt that with meditating today. It felt like an effort to even just follow my breath, and when when you're finding that effort, you know that, you know, you're probably not in the most motivated state, and it's something to just witness and be aware of, because it could well have an impact on how you go about the rest of your day. So yeah, recognising that resistance and separating yourself from it, because otherwise it will really cause you to be a bit of a slave to your emotional state. And now Jocko Willink, former US Navy SEAL, coined the term discipline, well, he's got a book about it, I think. Discipline equals freedom. And it's cultivating that sense of mental strength, that discipline, that resilience, allows you to be free from the shackles of your mind. And that's kind of how I feel today. So I don't really want to be doing what I'm doing or about to be doing it, but that's kind of my lower self. And to really harness the higher self and your true essence, we must do what we don't want to do for the betterment of ourselves in the long term. That's a fifth of the workout today. I'm already sweating rather excessively, considering the level isn't actually that intense. My heart rate's also shown that it's higher than it normally is. So it's good to recognise this, because obviously poor night's sleep yesterday will have an impact on performance. Yeah, my heart's probably 10 beats more than what it would normally be at the same level. So the goal is just to endure, try and keep it as easy as possible, while still eliciting adaptation and really working on the mental side of things, being present and ensuring that the mind doesn't wander too far, because this is manageable right now, but it could easily become unmanageable when I think of what's still to come. So the attention must lie now with each foot, step, try and muster a smile and just keep going. Here with the JC weather experience, the heavy clouds have scattered. Now we have passing light cloud with the odd drizzle. But in all seriousness, we've just done an hour. As I said, the cloud, I always refer to mood and emotion as the weather. It's not my concept, it's as long back as time goes. But definitely feel the resistance is loosened. There's more space within the mind, and I'm not feeling so suffocated with what the goal is. So yeah, it's good. 60 minutes down, 307 floors climbed. Heart rate's still at least 10 beats higher than it should be, but all in all, progress. Oh, dear me. 90 minutes in, the clouds are back. The up and down. It's a big aspect of why I do these challenges and voluntary adversity and things like that, is you just recognise sort of the cycles, whether it's in a controlled environment such as this, in terms of, you could call it life itself, all follows the same kind of cycles and things. So the great thing is although right now it's a challenge, you know that challenge will soon dissipate, and there'll be a bit of space, and it's kind of a great, well, it's kind of like the smiling philosophy really. Endure through the challenging times and grow, and enjoy the peace and rest that comes during the pleasant times. Both have fantastic benefits to us, I guess, if we can just frame it correctly. I tell you what, framing it today correctly is effing challenging, because it just is a slog. But I guess having an acceptance of that lessens the resistance. Try and go with the flow of the challenge rather than up against it. At least you're not battling both the physical and the mental. You can just focus on the physical and use the mental to actually make the physical that little bit easier. So we're fast approaching 2 hours, a couple more minutes until we hit that landmark, and then it's new territory. I've never done more than 2 hours on this. When I was training for my first ultra marathon, I was living in Hoi An in 2015. I I would have 6.5-hour training runs when my cloud never lifted, where the whole 6 hours would just be a plod. So today's largely like that. It's just one that there's been the odd little bit of light here and there, but for the most part it's just been a struggle. That's to be expected along the journey for sure. It's not all, as Rocky says, sunshine and rainbows, but it's been a good test. I've learnt about myself for sure, so there's always positives to come from even the most bleakest conditions. And obviously it's relative. I mean, this is voluntary adversity. I'm not trying to talk about anything more than that. But one quick side note, whilst I was lost in thought not so long ago, a lovely gentleman and his girlfriend or friend complimented me on the Smilinggg t-shirt on the vest that I'm wearing, and in that moment everything lifted for a moment. But it just shows again those kind words that the gentleman shared and gifted me. It certainly made a difference for a few minutes after. So never underestimate the power of small acts of kindness. Boom, so that's training done, 2.5 hours. It was a tough session today, just wasn't at the races really, but got it done, and that's a massive tick in the box. Now waiting for my porridge. So it's the final session of the week. We've reached it, Sunday, preparing for battle. 2.5 hours. Well, the battle went horribly wrong with the tripod, just completely stacked it. Anyway, we're at the gym. Spirits are feeling pretty high. To know that it's just 2.5 hours between the end of a very successful training week, albeit difficult, but again, through the difficulty, that I guess is where the success lies. Legs are feeling good. I'm feeling a little bit tired. I've had my black coffee this morning. That's 2 hours down, 30 minutes to go. Legs are feeling pretty heavy at this stage, considering we're at 4.5 hours over the 2 days. I really need the next 30 minutes to speed up. Done and dusted. Change of angle. So that's the week all done. Thank you ever so much for joining me. Today was a lot better than yesterday, and it shows the power of sleep as well. Last night I slept a lot better, and I think I achieved pretty much the same workout statistics than I did yesterday, but I burnt like 500 less calories, so that shows that my heart rate was far less. So there's a lot of positives to take from today's session, and yeah, we move on, we put it in the memory bank, we reset, we level up to a new level of my capabilities, and it with that fills me with confidence. So I hope you've had an awesome training week. I hope you've had a good week in general. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. We'll catch up soon. That's that. I'm going to head off because I am getting funny looks staring down at my passenger seat talking. So, peace out, love, smiling even when we're not wearing smiling. Okay, love.